Hello and welcome to this edition of Chewing the Fat. I'm Andy Lehman. So in this episode, I just wanted to talk about fear-based marketing. Now, fear-based marketing is something that has been used for many years. Basically, fear is a very strong motivator of action. When people are scared, when people are scared, they either freeze and do nothing, go within themselves, or they take massive action. So fear-based marketing is used a lot. I'm going to come to a point shortly. There was someone, a very good copywriter who I follow and are friends with. He said something which I think is very powerful. It's very interesting. Basically, that all marketing is a lie. And technically, I kind of agree with him. Every piece of marketing is a lie because basically you're trying to portray something that could be in the future. So it hasn't happened yet. It's not real. You're trying to tell somebody that this could happen to them or for them. But as it stands for that individual who's reading the marketing, who's looking at the marketing, it hasn't happened. So it's all a lie. So technically everything is a lie when you look at it that way. But the other day I got an email from, I don't know who it was. I didn't really pay attention. Basically I dismissed the email quite quickly. But it was from some guy who was trying to sell me SEO services for one of my websites. I can't remember what the headline was. So I don't know if it pulled my attention because of what the headline said, but basically in the email he was trying to say that the website that he was referring to had several toxic and harmful links pointing to the website, which basically saying that it's going to harm my chances of landing that website in the search results in sort of Google and Bing, and basically getting on the front page of the search results. I mean, for me it didn't really matter because that website isn't for web search. It's based on a certain keyword, and anybody who goes to that keyword, they're probably going to find it anyway because there's nothing else like it. It's not there for particularly people searching for it, and it's not particularly there to get in the search results. So as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't really that much of an issue anyway. But the interesting thing about this email is it was trying to tell me that I had these toxic and harmful links pointing to my website, and that if I didn't do anything with that, if I didn't do anything with that information soon, then it was going to harm my prospects, my opportunity of finding clients, customers, selling products, making money, either way. So I did a quick look at the website. I got another friend of mine who's an SEO expert to also cast an eye over it, and the website was fine. There were no harmful links pointing back to it, and there was nothing toxic about it. Nothing was going to be an issue for me. This email was basically written for most website owners, because most website owners do not know anything about the techie side of a website. They don't know anything about that kind of thing. So the person who wrote the website was banking on them not knowing much about websites and not knowing much about the SEO side of a website. And the idea that there was these harmful and toxic links pointing to the website would probably freak them out and make them panic. They know that when they open up a website, they're probably told that they want to get on the front page of Google or on the search results, or at least have certain keyword phrases that people can search for, and they will find that website with ease. So this email was basically telling them that they had these harmful links pointing to them, to the website, and that if nothing was to be done about them, then it was going to scupper their chances of being found. Basically, they weren't going to find any clients, customers, leads, money. They weren't going to make any money off that website. So the person who wrote that email was hoping on the website owner not knowing anything about it, and so they'll panic and get all scared and then go, oh my God, no, that's not good. I need to have this website up and clean and working, and I don't need to be penalised by Google or anything like that. So they're hoping that they would reply back and say, oh, thank you very much for letting me know. What can I do about it? And then he would dive in with his SEO services and charge him $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, several $100 per month, whatever it was, to get the work done. Now, fortunately, I'm not that green about websites. I also know people who I can double check on. And when the email came through, I was like, this is a little bit sus. And it was basically a fear-based email trying to sell services that was actually quite fraudulent in the fact that everything that he said was a lie. So it was a lie. And as I said earlier about all marketing basically is a lie. There's a difference between projecting something that may or may not happen to actually saying something outright, as in this is happening or this is what's going on right now, when it actually isn't. So that is a huge lie. But fear-based marketing itself is actually, like I say, is used a lot, and a lot of the fear-based marketing that is used often has a grain of truth within it. So, for example, just today was talking about the here in the UK, the retirement age was for men was 65, for women it was 60, and then they brought it up, I think, to 65 to match with men. Now the men have gone up to 67, and sooner or later that retirement age is going to go up to 68, and the time you'll be able to get your state pension will be in 68. So by the time I think people after 5th of April in 1977, born in 1977, they soon will not be able to draw their pension until they're 68. So they're pushing it back further and further, which basically means that you have got to start earning more money, have bigger savings if you want to retire early, or you're going to work till you are longer. And I think the government are banking on the fact that people are going to die, and hopefully they won't have to pay out so much. There's all these rumours that the pension schemes will eventually collapse and that there's not enough money to pay people as it is now, so let alone the future generations. So one day the pension schemes may come to an end. And so with all this going on, the other thing is they're saying about the retirement age for men, or for both people, for men and women, could be risen to 68, but they were talking about 2044, 2046, bringing that in. But there's now rumours that this could happen very soon after the next general election. And the way things are going in the UK at the moment, we've had that many different prime ministers, that many different cabinets, different governments, and soon it could swap from Conservative to Labour. The whole idea that your state pension is going to be the one constant out of all of this is a bit foolish, is a bit scary. It's a little bit worrying, really, if you think about it. Why would you want to think that the state pension, I mean, it has been around for years, so it has been a bit of a constant, but it's constantly changing. But it depends on which party gets in, who's going to be in charge of the pensions, and what they come up with, and how much money they've wasted on other things which the government have done. So the idea that this one pension is going to be there forever for everyone, it's kind of foolish to actually believe in that going to be the case. And the other thing as well is that with the Conservative government that we've got now, it's a different government to the one that they had, say, 20, 30 years ago. John Major, the former Prime Minister John Major, who used to be obviously the Prime Minister and the leader of the Conservative Party in the 1990s, he said that the Conservative Party of today is a lot different to the one of his generation, and yet it's still the same Conservative Party. It's just the same by name. The actual ideologies, the people, the politicians, they've all changed. So who's in power now is different to the Conservatives all those years ago. So you can't even bank on the idea that the one party that you voted for is actually still going to keep the same principles and policies going and keep things going as they are. So the whole idea was that it was foolish to sort of bank on your pension. And I was writing about this today. You can actually write about that, use that as sort of fear-based marketing. So if you're writing a sales letter, if you're writing an email, and you're writing about a specific product where you want someone to buy a product which will help them to make more money in their spare time, you could actually start writing about how the government and the pension schemes could collapse. How the pension schemes could be worthless in a few years' time. These are things that people are talking about now. These are things that are, in many ways, they're probably guesstimations. They're people guessing that it could be, but there's rumours going about. There's talking about how there is little money. Birmingham City Council is bankrupt. I mean, that's a council. They're supposed to be helping fund people, social housing, so people who are struggling, who need their rents paying. I don't know if the people on the job seekers allowance or whatever it is these days, universal credit, where that money's coming through the council from a second people. But basically, Birmingham City Council is broke. So you can actually write about that and use that as a fear, or to stimulate fear in people to get them to do something. But you're not actually particularly lying, because these things are happening. But you use that as a way to get people to sort of wake up and realise that things aren't as rosy as they are, or as they think they are, and they're certainly not going to be as rosy as they should be. And you can get them to start thinking your way, which is you probably need to start a side hustle. You probably need to buy this product to help you start earning a passive income or second income or something like that. So fear-based marketing is very, very powerful, but it's also very much, in some ways, there's an element of truth in there, because you're talking about certain things that are sort of being talked about. But like I said, the copywriter I know, he by the name of Colin, he said virtually everything in marketing is a lie, because basically you are trying to project a potential future that hasn't happened. So for the person who's reading that marketing, it hasn't happened. It doesn't even matter if it's a good future or a bad future. You're painting a picture of what can be, but unless they actually do the work and they get the results that you paint the picture you say that they could get, if they don't get them, then technically you've lied to them, but you've not lied to them because it's a projection of a possibility. So you've got to understand the difference between that and basically lying, as in saying something like my website's full of toxic backlinks, which it wasn't. That's a downright lie of the here and now. Projecting into the potential of the future is a lie, but it's not a blatant bad lie. But yeah, fear-based marketing is used a lot. I mean, politicians do it all the time. Political parties, they do it. But they tend to listen to what people are talking about. So if the majority of the people are talking about immigration, they stir it up, and that's obviously why they talk about it more. But they mention that these bogeymen are coming. These bogeymen are coming to steal your home, steal your money, steal your jobs, probably even steal your family. And those bogeymen generally are foreigners, immigrants, people of a different political persuasion, different political party, or even of a different religion. And so they make these enemies and they scare you into voting their way. So this is fear-based marketing. Lots of politicians do it. Lots of marketing people do it. Lots of emails, lots of videos, lots of sales letters that you see will have an element of fear in there. But like I say, some of the fear does have an element of the truth, like I talked about with the pensions. I mean, that was something I was writing about today in an email and an article, and that the pensions people are concerned about them, and there is lots of questions around whether they are going to be still here in the future, whether people of my generation will actually get a pension. I have absolutely no idea. I'm supposed to. I've been paying into the system, so I should have a pension, but how much or what, I really don't know. When I will get it or how long I will live. I mean, if they do push the pension scheme back to 68 years, there's a lot of people I know who've died way before then, so they're obviously banking on trying to save money that way. They do say that the people are keeping healthier and living longer, but I don't know if that's particularly true. Certainly in the next generations, probably not with the amount of sugar and rubbish that people eat, the junk food that they eat. There's a lot of ill health and type 2 diabetes going on, so I don't know if that's still particularly true. But yeah, so the fear base around the pension scheme is something that people are feeling, people are talking about, and it is real. So I was able to write about that. If there's anything that you are selling, whatever product it is, you can use fear-based marketing, but you must be careful not to, as I say, over-egg the pudding or make blatant lies. You can sort of, I suppose insinuate is the kind of word, or it's intended. You can intend or make it sound like people may lose their money in the future if they're not careful by leaving it in banks. Because of the history of the banks, we've seen how banks have folded. We've seen it. So you can do all these kind of things. You can use past experiences or past situations to try and say, well, this happened 10 years ago. What's to say it not happening again? Are you really going to trust? I mean, here's a good example. I don't know the story, the ins and outs of the story or what happened, but I did see someone on Twitter say that they had an online bank account. It's not one of those that we have traditional English banks, Barclays or whatever, Santander, Lloyds, TSB. It never had high street stores. It's a fairly new one. I think it was funded by one of the big banks, but it was an online bank. So it's got an app on a mobile phone. That's basically, you get a card, but everything is done on your mobile phone. It is a mobile online banking, and they had £20,000 in the bank, and it was all frozen. And so there was online kicking up a fuss, and a lot of people say, well, it's an online bank. Do you trust it, this and the other? So I don't know how untrustworthy these banks are, what the reason was for her account being closed and frozen, why they wouldn't give her money, why. I don't truly understand. It might even been satire, I don't really know. But if that was a genuine story, if I go check her out now and find out that she genuinely did have her account shut down, and if I could find out the reasons why, then I could use that in my marketing or my sales material. So if I was writing something about investments or how to make money using a specific side hustle or online business, I could take that and I could talk about how you should not be comfortable with let's say if I was talking about buying bricks and mortar, put your money into bricks and mortar, don't leave them in an online bank account because you just don't know. Just like that, they can come along and decide that they're going to freeze your account. They don't like the look of the account. They're not quite sure. By law, they have to let the government know whether you're paying taxes or if you're looking a bit iffy. If you've suddenly been paid 20 grand out of nowhere, they want to know why. And just like that, they can close the account down. So I could write in there and say, don't trust the banks. This has happened. This could be you. For safety, put your money into something that you control, not somebody else's, something that you can sell at a later date where you can get your money. So I could use that as a way to sort of create fear and scare somebody into creating or taking action. So even just subtly nudging people into a direction of thinking. I could say that this bank has closed this account down. And on the thread, there was probably even 2 or 3 other people said that happened to me. And I can say this bank is well known for closing people's accounts down without warning for no apparent reason. If they decide that they don't like the look of your actions, do you want that for yourself? Are you going to risk it? Isn't it better to put your money in ABC and you can do something like that? So that's fear-based marketing. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be, as I say, if you decide to lie about what is going on or what basically if you just lie to people. Like I said, it happened to me. Got this email. They tried to tell me that my website could be penalised because of these bad links, even though there was no bad link. So it was a blatant lie. I should have applied and said, do one, jog on, mate. But so that was a fear-based marketing. They were trying to scare non-techie wise people into hiring their services. So it's a bit iffy, a bit dodgy, but people do that. And because fear is a big motivator, it's one of the reasons why things like tax offices and people like that will, they put on big fines if you don't pay tax, scare people into paying them because they don't want to go to prison, they don't want the fine, so they pay the tax, no matter whether it's correct or justified or not, whatever. These people act on fear, unless, of course, like I say, some people do freeze, and it depends on what the situation is. But fear-based marketing is a great way of getting people to think about your products, to possibly consider buying your products. I'm not going to say manipulate people into buying your products. You're persuading people, you're influencing them to making a decision which is good for you and good for them. But you're using the potential fear, the potential bad thing as a motivator. That is, you're trying to say this could happen if you don't do this, or this can happen if you do. So basically with fear-based marketing, they generally match it with a nice outcome. So some people call this problem agitate solve. So you find a problem, you agitate it, then you offer up a solution. There's before and after bridge. So you can do the before, this is where you are poor, and if you carry on doing this, you'll be even poorer. Then you can say if you buy this product, your life will be so wonderful. Then you talk about the product more. So there's these things, you often match the fear with the good. So if you scare somebody into thinking away, then you have to offer them a solution to get out of that fear, or what will take away that fear, or what will take away the problem that is creating that fear. So if they fear losing their money, then you are going to offer them something that's going to save their money and probably double it. So you see what I mean? So fear-based marketing is good, but again, it can be bad, but it's something you should use, but you should use it carefully. Like I say, do not lie, do not blatantly lie, but as I said, when it comes to marketing, technically everything is a lie because you are trying to sell a outcome, a dream, a lifestyle to a person who's reading the marketing before they've ever had it. So if you're saying to somebody, you could be sat on a beach with your sat on your beach with your laptop or your phone, drinking a beer, making money, that's a potential opportunity, or a possible future. So it's not actually real. It's technically, if it's not real, then it's a lie. So if you're not telling the truth, it's a lie. So all forms of marketing in many ways is a lie, but there is, like I say, it's a huge difference between a blatant lie and saying what something could be. At least when you're saying what could be, then there is that opportunity. Unless, of course, there is no opportunity, but you say there is, then that is a blatant lie, and that's a definite no-no. But yeah, so I'm going to bring this Chewing the Fat to a close now, because it was just something, I don't know if I rambled on, I don't know if you found that interesting. It was something that I wanted to talk about. It was the email I got the other week. It kind of made it was like, oh, that's a bit harsh, that's a bit, a bit wrong. You're telling people that it could happen, or you could do this, or you needed this is fine, but basically coming out and telling me that I had these bad links when I didn't was just wrong. So yeah, fear-based marketing is very useful, very handy. Everybody does it. Just don't be a dick and make it a blatant lie. But at the same time, when you do use fear-based marketing, give them the opposite. Give them the good outcome. Show them that there is a good outcome. Show them how they can have that outcome, how they can escape the bad, and how they can live the good. Put the two together. Just don't scare people into buying things they don't need by lying. Simple as that. Okay, so this is Chewing the Fat. I've been Andy Lehman. I just say thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode. Cheers and goodbye.